Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Tarot by the Book. If you are new to this series, this is a weekly series on my channel where I like to share with you a week ahead spread using a randomly selected tarot deck from my collection. And in the process, I give a 3-card intuitive reading, but I also talk to you a little bit about how the deck works out for me. It's kind of like a follow-up review, mini follow-up review. You get to see the deck in action. And when I've done the intuitive reading, I like to at the end circle into the guidebook or one of my favorite tarot books if the deck doesn't have a guidebook, and read from the book so that you get an idea also of how the guidebook reads, and it becomes kind of a learning thing as well. So this week, the deck that has been chosen randomly is the Crystal Unicorn Tarot by Pamela Chen. This deck I got off of Indiegogo in, oh, I thought there was a date on the box. It says it came out in 2017. I feel like that's around when I got it. It must have been, because I feel like I got the first edition here. So yeah. This is a really, really sweet Rider-Waite-Smith unicorn clone. Check out this. I love this bag for it. It's got these like rainbow cords on it, and it says, "I believe in unicorns," and it's so perfect for this deck. Okay, bag aside. It comes in a sturdy 2-piece box. I believe this deck is currently still available. When I got mine, there was an issue where the 8 of Pentacles only had 7 pentacles visible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's been fixed. This is the corrected card, which Pamela very graciously sent out because there was an issue where you couldn't see it. The artwork is just cut off and you couldn't see that 8th pentacle. But I found that it was just different enough texture-wise in the deck that I've stuck with the original 8 of Pentacles in here, which I probably am not going to see. One of the things I love about this deck is it's got these like really beautiful soft pastel colors. And it's just really sweet. It's essentially just, it's all the exact same scene. So it's the true definition of a Rider-Waite-Smith clone deck, in the sense that all of the artwork is inspired by the original Pamela Coleman Smith artwork, only instead of people, we have unicorns in these same positions, doing the same kinds of things. And obviously, since they're 4-legged, there's some necessary changes, such as this much wider throne for the Emperor. And there's also this additional aspect of these little crystals, which you'll see throughout the suit. So throughout all the cups, I believe they have rose quartz crystals on their bums. In the swords, they have amethyst. In the pentacles, I believe those are citrine. And in the wands, I can't remember. I think it's smoky quartz in the wands. And then the majors have crystals sort of tucked into the artwork somewhere, depending on the major arcana. So it's just kind of a fun little extra layer to the deck. So there's a crystal. That's the crystal, right? Yeah, that's a crystal there. So yeah, it's kind of fun. I pulled this randomly. To be honest, I haven't actually worked with this deck much at all, despite the fact that I love it. It's a really, really nice cardstock. It's probably like a 330 GSM, 350 GSM, but it's got a really smooth lamination on it. The backs are reversible. I really need to etch this deck in some pastel colors. Like, I really, really need to do that at some point. But anyway, let's dive in. The guidebook itself is one of these little sweet accompanying guidebooks. There is even, I believe, a Crystal Unicorn Tarot coloring book that you can purchase as well. And I think you might be able to get this on Amazon in the US. It's not like stocked at Amazon, or at least I don't think it's, you know what, I'm not going to make any guesses. But I think you can get it on Amazon in the States. I don't think you can get it on Amazon in Canada, which is where I'm at. So let's set the book aside. How this will work, if you are here for the intuitive reading or for the by the book reading, then all I'm going to ask you to do is to focus on your week ahead, or focus on the question, or the situation rather, I should say, that you would like the 3-card reading to address for you personally. So whatever you're focusing on, you can then apply the meaning of the cards to that situation. Now, I use 3 fixed spread positions for my week ahead readings. I use the first card, which is the energy of the week. The second card is the obstacle we may face in the upcoming week. And the third card is our advice for the coming week. And I love this 3-card spread. I find it to really be useful. I find that it's flexible and it's not let me down yet. So that's the position, or that's the spread rather, that I use every single week. And with that said, Let's take a few deep breaths. I'll do a couple more shuffles and we will get started. All right, so our energy for the week is the King of Cups, and I'll zoom us in just a moment. Our obstacle for the week is the Hierophant. And our advice for the week is Justice. Big energies this week for sure. So let me just set the deck aside and I'll zoom us in. Let's have a look at our 3 cards. So our energy for the week is the King of Cups, and that tells me intuitively what I'm getting from this, and I don't know if I even know what the crystals are in this deck. To be honest, I don't know them very well. Oh right, Cups was rose quartz, so I think his actual cup may be made from rose quartz. But anyway, energy of the week. King of Cups is somebody who literally sits atop the emotional realm. So we typically will see the King of Cups somehow just on the surface of the water, and here his throne is literally floating, or I guess even though it looks like it's cement, it's sitting just on top of the water. And while there's definitely waves in the background and you see a ship happening, this unicorn is extremely content in this realm. And really what that tells us is that the King of Cups is somebody who's very comfortable in the realm of emotion, and he also is the master of his emotions. He's not ruled by them, but he also isn't separated from them. And that tells us that the energy of the week, or in regards to your situation, is going to be an energy of being fairly well controlled emotionally. We're not going to be perhaps as reactive this coming up week, which will be a nice relief for some of us, I think, because there's definitely been some stressful times not that long ago. So I think it's going to feel really good for a lot of us to have a week where things are a little more stable emotionally and we're feeling like things are we can kind of coast a little in that way. Other things to consider is that we may have some sort of relationship things that come to the foreground this week. But again, I don't sense a lot of major disruption going on, at least in the main energy of the week. This feels like a very stable card, which I am all about. So not sad to see it. Our obstacle of the week. So I don't read reversals, but I use the card positions to tell me when I need to look at the shadow side of a card. So this card being an obstacle position, it's as if this card is reversed. So we are looking at the shadow side of the Hierophant. Now, to me, the shadow side of the Hierophant is a rigidity and an attachment to rules and structure that don't necessarily serve us. This is that tendency to either be dealing with somebody who could be a little bit on the controlling side, or us ourselves tending to be a little bit controlling. Hierophant has a lot to do with tradition and doing things the way they've always been done. And so in the shadow, this really tells me that this week we're going to bump up against a little bit of that sort of rigidity or stubbornness, either in ourselves or others. So just be on the lookout for that and be aware that in general, if we come at things from this more emotionally stable place, which it looks like we're intending to this week, then this kind of energy doesn't really have to disrupt the flow of our week too much. Be aware that it comes up and be prepared. That was my dog letting herself into my room. And be prepared to just breathe through those moments where things start to feel a little bit too rigid or a little bit too controlling, and take those few deep breaths that you need to in order to come back to this emotionally stable place. And finally, let's look at our advice for the week, and we have Justice. And I think this actually really meshes well with these other 2 cards. Justice is definitely that energy of balance and of fairness, of an objective right versus wrong sort of thing. So that tells us that our advice this week is to step back and be as objective as we can in situations. Try not to get pulled into other people's drama. If you're dealing with this situation where there's a little bit too much rigidity and control, try to avoid the urge to immediately fix that. Instead, take a step back and embrace your big picture thinking and look at all sides of situations. Don't get drawn into the nitty-gritty, but instead take that wider view. And I think we're going to have a fairly uneventful week if all goes well with these things. So that, my friends, is my intuitive read of these 3 cards. Let's take a look now at the little guidebook that comes to the deck and look up our King of Cups. I like to kind of move these over the side so you can still see them when I'm doing this part. So we'll first take a look at the King of Cups and see what it has to say. So in this deck, this tells us, I want to confirm the crystal for the cup suit because I think it's at the beginning. Yes, rose quartz is the crystal, which is filled with compassion and love, always evolving like the element of water. Good to know. Okay. So, King of Cups, keywords upright are wisdom, generosity, and balance. Using wisdom and compassion, the King of Cups brings focus and balance to your emotions. If you're struggling right now, turn to someone who is a soothing influence that can provide comfort in your life. They will be there ready to help. And that's an important thing to remember about court cards when they come up, is that these can represent an energy, but they can also represent a person in your life. So as the energy of the week, you might find yourself either spending a lot of time with or leaning into the comfort of a King of Cups person in your life. So that's something else to remember about that card. Let's take a look next at our Hierophant. And there we go. So keywords are belief, religion, and tradition. And the crystal pictured in the Hierophant card here in the background is lapis lazuli. The Hierophant unicorn is here to remind us of the rules and systems our ancestors set in place and why it is good we have such traditions. With the energy of the lapis lazuli crystal helping him to communicate to others in a confident but understandable way, he's able to get his message across and help you fit in a good way. Now that was I did read the upright keywords, and if we remember, this is the obstacle. So we were looking at the shadow side of the Hierophant, or the reversed meaning of the Hierophant, which is rebel, restriction, and constrained. So that really echoes what I was saying about the rigidity, the sort of stuckness of other people being a little too rigid, controlling, etc. Yeah, restriction, rigidity, I'd definitely put those in the same camp. So finally, let's take a look at our advice card, Justice, and see what the book has to say about justice. And the crystal featured in this card, oops, there we go, is just down here at the lower right-hand corner, and it is carnelian. And justice. The Justice Unicorn is about balance and harmony, looking for the truth and setting things right. This card can help you look at the big picture. Ooh, look at that. We were very much in tune with one another, Pamela. As if she's going to see this. That was really funny that I said that. Okay. What was I saying? Sorry, I got really excited about the whole big picture thing because I totally said that, which was funny. So, yeah, this card can help you look at the big picture and create a win-win situation for everyone involved. With the guidance of the carnelian crystal energy, the Justice Unicorn will not act out in anger, jealousy, or fear, but rather protect and defend all innocent magical creatures. Balance, legality, and truth are the upright keywords. So the only piece there I would say is that my intuitive read on this card was that we not get involved, especially not right away, but instead pull back, look at the big picture, take that wider view before we get ourselves into that situation. So the guidebook and I conflicted slightly on how involved you could get, but in general, the energy was the same. The idea of basically taking that step back, looking at the big picture, was definitely a cohesive feeling in both my intuitive read as well as the message in the guidebook. So this, my friends, is the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. This is just a really beautifully put together deck. The artist of this deck is Lisa Higuchi, and I know that I'm fairly confident this deck is still available. If it is available on Amazon, as I believe it may be, then I will have a link to the deck in my description box down below. Please keep in mind that the Amazon links that I use are affiliate links, which means I do earn, if you make a purchase there, I'll earn like a small commission off of your purchase, so just be aware that that is a thing that happens, but you don't pay more for your purchases made through affiliate links. So that is all on this week's Tarot by the Book. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!